Hello, awesome students! Today we're going to talk about capacitance in series and in parallel. Capacitance is the ability of a component or circuit to collect and store energy in the form of an electric charge. Capacitors are energy storing devices available in many sizes and shapes. The capacitance value of a capacitor is measured in farads, which was named after an English physicist named Michael Faraday. Farad is a large-scale unit, so in practice, microfarad and picofarad is being used. Combinations of capacitors. First, we have capacitors in series, and the second is capacitors in parallel. Capacitors in series. The equivalent capacitance of capacitors in series is 1 over C1 plus 1 over C2, so on and so forth. Note that the charge on each capacitor is the same, and the equivalent voltage is the sum of all volts. For example, two capacitors, capacitor 1 is equivalent to 10 microfarads and capacitor 2 is equivalent to 20 microfarads are arranged in series and connected to a 10-volt source. Find the equivalent capacitance, find the equivalent charge, find the charge of each capacitor, and find the voltage across each capacitor. The equivalent capacitance would be 20 over 3 microfarads. The equivalent charge is 200 over 3 microcoulombs. Charge on each capacitor is 200 over 3 microcoulombs, and the voltage across each capacitor is 20 over 3 volts and 10 over 3 volts. Capacitors in parallel. The equivalent capacitance of capacitors in parallel is CEQ is equivalent to C1 plus C2, so on and so forth. The equivalent charge is the sum of all charges, and the equivalent voltage of each capacitor are the same. For example, two capacitors, capacitor 1 is equivalent to 10 microfarads and capacitor 2 is equivalent to 20 microfarads are arranged in parallel and connected to a 10-volt source. Find the equivalent capacitance, find the equivalent charge, find the charge of each capacitor, and find the voltage across each capacitor. The equivalent capacitance would be 30 microfarads, the equivalent charge would be 300 microcoulombs, the charge on each capacitor would be 100 microcoulombs and 200 microcoulombs, and the voltage across each capacitor is 10 volts. That would be all. Hope you learned something. Have a great day.